Life flows like a river, so I'll take what days deliver. It's Rhyme and Reason 478.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're...
Hey there, Tony, your scruffy-voiced podcast host, here again. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll just say up front, I don't anticipate my voice staying this way all that much longer. Matter of fact, I am optimistic and hopeful that the change is going to begin starting this coming Tuesday. I'll certainly be glad because it has been miserable. Let me put it that way. It's been miserable and unfun sounding like this for so long. But I think they finally figured out what's doing it and how to fix it. So prayers are welcome. Love that. Thank you for your kind words some of you have sent to me and all that kind of stuff. So let me get into a story that I wanted to share with you. You heard me at the beginning say life's like a river, so I'll take what days deliver. And that analogy made me think of the boating times that I enjoyed so much on some lakes and rivers in Texas in my dad's boat, actually a couple of boats. And this is way, way back in the 20th century. Some of you are possibly not even old enough to remember history that far back. But I was just a young teenager way back then, and my dad got a project boat from a guy who was out on his route that he did in his job. The guy just had a mostly dry-rotted boat in his side yard or some part of his yard. And my dad spotted it and talked to him about, hey, what would you take to have me get rid of that for you? And the guy said, what would I take? I'd pay you to take it. So it worked out. Basically, Dad pulled what was left of this boat into his garage and started pulling off all the bad wood. And when it was all taken off, basically all that was left was the bow and the bottom. Even the transom had to be removed. If you don't know boating parts, that's the back where the motor hooks on when you have an outboard motor. And Dad spent months rebuilding that boat. And I don't even know how long, because that was still at a time where in the summer, my brother and I would leave my dad's place and go to my mom's place in Kansas. So he was working on it during the summer too. I think he finished it, as I recall. He finished it in the summer, and when we got back in the fall, it was done. But I got ahead of myself a little bit there. He was working on it for weeks and months, and there were plenty of those days of applying the layers of cheesecloth and fiberglass, and then the details like replacing the pulley system for steering, a new steering wheel, installing a new throttle. I'm sure there were a lot more things that I don't even remember or didn't even know about maybe. And Dad also worked out a deal with another guy for a 35 horsepower Johnson outboard motor. And I think he got it for just a few bucks because the guy didn't want to clean it up. But my dad was good with that stuff. He had some patience, and he worked on it and got it cleaned up and got it running great. I mean, it was a great little engine. And then finally the day came, like I said, when we got to take the boat to the lake, and Dad discovered the hard way how many other details had to be taken care of before we could just go have a fun boating day. There was registration for the boat and the trailer, life preservers for, everybody who was going to be on the boat, lights for the bow and the transom, and probably some more things too. I think he even had to get registration numbers that you put on the side, all this kind of stuff. And like I say, he found out the hard way. We took the boat in the lake, and then there'd be a lake patrol guy pull him over, and hey, you don't have this, you don't have that, all the regulation nonsense. But anyway, at long last, you could say, the day arrived when we could actually put the boat in the water legally. Everybody could have fun, and Dad took us to whatever lake it was, and Dad backed the trailer down the boat ramp, and slowly but surely the boat started to ease off the trailer. That's what it does when you back into the water. And I was about to release the cable from the front when I noticed the boat was filling up with water, and I'm talking fast filling up with water. And, first thought is, oh, my goodness, something he didn't work. There's a leak. As it turned out, all we'd forgotten to do was put the drain plug in. There's a drain plug that goes at the back bottom part of the transom. So your forward motion, you can have that open in your forward motion will drain the water out. If you're not going forward motion, you have to have that plug in. So, I'm yelling, Dad, don't back up. And so he pulled the boat back out and we let it all drain out. And then we got the boat into the water finally, and there were no leaks. And we put on our life preservers, and Dad pulled the crank to start the motor. And basically just after a couple of tugs, the motor fired up and we were on our way. We got to take it out, and we were staying close to shore because we wanted to make sure it was all seaworthy and everything, of course. And then once we did, then Dad hit the throttle, and we skimmed across the lake. Man, it was fun. And then we had lots more trips and camping out, and went to lakes and rivers, like I said. And because the main thing is that Dad had done a great job, and it was a great boat. It was rock solid. It was sturdy. We knew we could depend on it to keep us afloat. And, it was great memories in the making. We didn't know at the time that I'd be talking about this so many years later, but that's what it was. And now Dad's been gone for more than half my life. But, like I said, those boating memories are in my head, and they're always going to be there. It was simpler times, and sort of feels like I've been in that boat heading down the river ever since. I'm going to share this little music that kind of ties in with it. This is like a little snippet of something, and I'll be right back.
Outside the lines, the grass is greener, but that will not change my demeanor, because my life runs like a river. I'll take what all my days deliver. I know the morning sun will shine, so I'll draw another line. I'll keep a box of all my most important things inside my heart, where they can be a constant song of joy to me. I love the sound of optimism when it sings. I can do what I need to. I know it's so I can do. I can do what I need to. I know it's so I can do.
Yeah, that's a song called I Can Do. It's part of a group of songs that I'm working on for licensing. So it's for a whole different purpose than what I've been doing music for a long time. But I'm not really sharing full versions of those songs yet, because my voice, even though maybe it comes out okay, and some people who've heard it said it's not too bad, they think it sounds good. I think it doesn't. So I'm going to wait till I can do my real voice again, and it might take a little bit to build it back up. Anyway, I want to just kind of show you that, some of the stuff that I'm working on. And now back to the boat analogy. In the song it said, my life flows like a river, so I'll take what days deliver. Well, when you say life flows like a river, it's only in one direction. There's never been a day when I could go back up that river of life. So knowing you can't time travel, you can't go back in time and go back up that river, I want to make sure the boat is pointed toward home. That's where you want to end up. Because one day you're going to get out. I'm going to get out of this boat. This lifeboat. And I'd certainly be sad if the trip had all been for nothing. I'd hate to think that I was going to be in a lake of fire rather than a lake of heaven. But, maybe that's just me. Maybe there's plenty of people who a lake of fire sounds pretty darn exciting to them. I hope you can change your mind before it's too late if that's you. And remember, outside the lines, the grass is greener. But don't let that change your demeanor, because life flows like a river. So take what the days deliver, but do it with purpose. Do it on purpose. Make sure that you're pointed toward home, and make sure home is where the Lord is, not just where your heart is, okay? All right. I'll leave you with that for now. Till next time, this is Tony from TonyFunderburk.com. And remember, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and